Well, here's the new shaft for the Chief's mill drill. Well, now it's going to be a mill drill. I might cut this off a bit. I got to figure something out. I've been looking for that damn chuck, and I can't find one. So I'll see what I can dig up. But regardless, I got to figure out how much length I need to go into that, and I'll make the next end mill holder. You know, like thread that the same depth as well. I've turned it to a shoulder so that it's it'll indicate off that shoulder, and the screw thread is just for retaining it, and that should be a lot more reliable than the oh geez, the taper being used to hold it. This should be a lot more positive. Now it does mean that you can't run it in reverse, but since most drills don't have a reverse, and I'm pretty sure the Chiefs doesn't, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Anyways, so I have got to find a chuck somewhere. So anyways, I'm going to go and poke around. Okay, so I knocked this down to about 3/4 of an inch long, and I grabbed the chuck out of my hammer drill, because that happens to be 1/2" 20 thread on there. And it threads on great and goes down to the shoulder nicely, but it doesn't run very true. Particularly impressed. You should be able to see a fairly visible wobble on that. And I know that the threads are cut straight, so I'm not sure why that's happening. Because I'll take this off and you won't see the same wobble in the thread. Let's see if I can get this closer without getting my camera whacked. But turning on again, so I really have to hold it steady or it doesn't mean anything. But you can see it's not running. I didn't cut that thing cockeyed. So all I'm going to have to say is I don't have a good chuck to give you for this Chief, but it's a standard size. I've seen them on eBay, and I'm sure you could get them used somewhere. It's a 1/2" 20 chuck. And maybe you'll get one that's better than this one, but this one isn't very good, it turns out. Now, I'm not sure why it's so out of whack. It's just weird. But regardless, and I did try chucking a 1/4 inch ground dowel into the chuck, and these are precision made, and that was wobbling as much as that. So I know it's the chuck. So in any case, so you'll have to see if you can source one of those locally, or you should be able to get one off of a reasonable size of hammer drill. I've seen some pretty typical sizes, and 1/2" 20 isn't an unusual size for it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my end mill holder. I'm going to try something. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller than the other one, not so big and heavy. And we'll see how that goes. I'm going to use some 1/2" cold rolled now and see how that goes. If it looks too flimsy, then I'll make another one out of 1.5. But I'm going to try it with 1 inch. Okay, so I'm trying to machine the tool holder for the end mills. And I'm not going to end up using this one because I wasn't too happy with how things are going here, but I figured I'd show you what I had been doing. I was facing off the end after I turned the end between centers, or turned the length between centers here. And yeah, I'm not too impressed with some of the things with this lathe. And this is of course what you get with the cheap Chinese lathe. That's as far as I can bring the saddle, you know, close to this, because it's hitting right there. That's a bit of a bad design. I'll have to take this off, chuck it in the mill, and knock that edge down a bit, because that's a bit silly. But because otherwise you should be able to bring it right up into here, but no, you can't. So as a result, I have to have my tool hanging, you know, like quite far out of the tool holder there, and all this and that. And I put the steady rest on there to keep this from, you know, obviously from moving, because it's going to waggle quite a bit at that distance. I was using the shaft to hold this, but I don't know. I think this would be adequately strong for it, you know, considering the fact that the weaker part is going to be, you know, like the actual shaft of the drill press. But this one waggled like crazy as soon as I threaded it on as well, so there might be something knackered with the way I cut the threads. The shoulder, you know, like indicated off the shoulder, either the face of it and the concentric portion of it, and it wasn't, there was no significant run out. But you know, like when I chucked that other chuck on there, and when I put this on here after I cut it, it was all wacky. So I'm not sure what to think of that. Definitely going to require some more investigation, and unfortunately it might mean that this shaft, I might have to go and make a new one, but if I make a new one, then I make a new one. That's not going to be that big a deal. Anyways, this is probably a way of showing you how not to do it. But regardless, I'm going to knock off for the evening and give it some thought, and maybe read a little bit and just and see if I can figure out something. There's a learning experience here. I just have to find what the lesson is, and then I can do this properly. Later, guys.